Welcome to MedTech Unfiltered, the core science podcast where we talk about real challenges of developing and approving complex medical devices.
Dear viewers and listeners, you are here with us again, the Core Science Podcast, and today I have here a decorated Army veteran, Paul Griffin, my colleague, and really a genius when it comes to QA. So, Paul, can you tell us a little bit about your background? How'd you come to Core Science? How'd you end up in Germany? Just tell a little bit about that.
Thank you, Andras, for inviting me to be on the Core Science show. I'm pretty sure that if I would explain my whole life's story, it would take more than just one podcast. So after several years of serving in the U.S. Army as an engineer, I decided it was time to begin a new chapter. I didn't transition directly into quality management or the medical device field. Instead, I was fortunate to find the right opportunity at the right moment, the time not in the United States, but in Germany. And since being in Germany, I was welcomed with open arms, and even by Core Science. The culture here is extremely, it fits my personality. So I get to do what I love to do, and yeah, that's why I'm here.
I love working with you. I think it absolutely fits your personality here. And you're an example of what it means to be bridging two cultures, and you're a true example for that. So glad to be working with you, and thank you for your service. With that being said, again, thank you for being here.
Pleasure to be here.
Awesome. So today, I want you to talk about notified bodies, what it looks like for a company that's used to FDA, maybe looking into transitioning, acquiring the MDR certification. What is a notified body? Can you tell us about that?
Great question, Andras. It's sometimes confusing, but if you're a U.S. startup or whether you're a medical device manufacturer, you've probably heard the word notified body. And if you've ever said, "What the heck is that?" then congratulations, you're completely normal. and I hope over the next 15 to 20 minutes I'll be able to walk you through what a notified body is, why it plays such a central role in the European regulation, why they often confuse American companies, and how to prepare for that stage of the CE marking journey. Okay.
So I'd say, could we get to the heart of it?
If you just want to jump into that, then I'll just jump into that and keep it human. Okay, then they're called notified bodies because the national authority, for example, Germany, Netherlands, or Ireland, notifies the European Commission that the organization is qualified to perform assessments under the medical device regulation, the MDR, or under the in vitro diagnostic regulation, EFAL-DR. Notified bodies are independent. They are licensed and monitored by an EU member state, authorized for specific device types, and essential for most devices above Class 1 medical devices.
So NBAs what are some characteristics of notified bodies?
They're independent,
right?
Licensed and monitored by the EU member states.
Okay, yeah, that's the question I actually wanted to ask. All right, so now we kind of talked about what notified bodies are.
You can stay on that track as far as what notified bodies are, and you have to think of them as independent auditors, plus FDA reviewers, and European bureaucracy wrapped up in a polite email.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah, exactly. So,
and that's your notified body, basically, in a nutshell.
Well, what do they do?
Let's break that down. As you move through the CE marking process, your notified body will evaluate the fundamental requirements relevant to your device. Your quality management system. Usually, in our case from Core Science, it would be the 13485. they'll run audits, including unannounced audits, to make sure your processes work. They'll also check your technical documentation, everything that proves your device is safe, functional, and meets European requirements.
Okay.
We're talking risk management, design history, verification, validation, in that direction.
So why do some companies get confused, or why specifically American companies have a hard time finding their way around this?
Okay, it's a good question. In the United States, you only have one authority calling the shots, and that's the medical devices, and that's the FDA. They review your device, check your documentation, and inspect your quality system.
So it's centralized, right?
Yep, ultimately, and decide whether you can sell your product.
Okay, so what about versus in Europe? You're talking about a centralized system in the United States. What about Europe?
Europe said, you know what? Let's do something different.
So this time Europe finally says something, we are doing something different, right?
Exactly.
All right.
Let's outsource it.
All right.
And instead of the FDA style agency, Europe works with these independent organizations called notified bodies who perform, conformity assessments and decide if your device meets the EU regulation.
Can you select a notified body?
Yes, you can select your notified body. You have to select your notified body. Nobody's going to, come knocking on the door, but you have to do it within.
So is that a one size fits all, or
No.
Or is there specific notified bodies to your specific products? How does that work?
You have to be specific about what class of medical device that you have, because that dictates what notified body you need to search for.
So class 1, class 2, or class 3, but
actually above class 1.
Okay, above class 1.
Yeah.
And so once I find a notified body that would fit my that'd be fit for my device, say class 3, is that all I need to know, or still there are?
There's a couple of more steps. Instead of the FDA style agency, the notified bodies are more or less just, in one word, they're market driven. Europe wanted flexibility, specification, or specialization, not specification, specialization, multiple assessment bodies, competition during efficiency, and independence from central political influence.
Political influence, even. Okay.
They wanted to be, they wanted to not have that type of influence in their decision making.
Okay, I got it. Why does it work that way? How did it evolve? How?
In the pre-MDR days, there were a lot of notified bodies, and I'd read somewhere there were at that time, 80. And after MDR happened, MDR raised the bar a lot, and stricter oversight, more requirements, with more scrutiny, and the result, many notified bodies simply, couldn't meet the standards. And today, the number is dramatically smaller.
So, Paul, after this, how do I choose the right notified body? On what basis?
Okay, if you're a startup or you're a medical device manufacturer in the EU, picking up your notified body is one of the most important decisions you'll make.
Why is that?
Because they're not a vendor, it's a relationship. And here's what matters most. You have to check the scope from the notified body and certify.
Okay, what is that?
That it's for your type of device. So check their designation.
Okay.
And naturally, timelines, capacity.
Okay.
You want to check with them because they could be booked out for months. So plan
Does that happen
accordingly.
often? That they're booked out for months?
It depends on their workload. That's
Okay.
it's the generalized question. I just can't say, well, they have 6 months to do your thing.
That's fair.
It's like in a free market,
Right.
You have to
It can happen.
plan accordingly.
Absolutely, it can happen. All right. What else? Do, for example, communication style matter at all?
Yeah, some are friendly and responsive. Others, let's say, are more like a government agency from the 1998 time capsule.
Okay.
But it's like that, and that's naturally the price. and you have to fit that into your budget.
Right, budget and what's your own organization is like your style. Right?
Exactly. You want to be able to communicate with them accordingly, and you all want to speak the same language.
Right.
You don't want to have going off that direction, and then they say no, you need to come back.
Yeah,
here.
that's fair. Is there anything else?
I would say experience with startups. You want a notified body that doesn't freak out when your quality system is still evolving, and they shouldn't hold your hand, but they should speak your language, as I said before.
So, So, for example, pricing. Do these notified bodies have a general price list, or it does matter what kind of relationship you have with them? Does it matter whether you know them or not, whether they know the company or not? Like, is it based on anything, or is it usually just a general price list when it comes to pricing?
I'm sure that you can reach out to the notified body that you want that fits your category of medical device, and you'll have to you have to agree upon a price of what you want to do for your specific needs. So,
right,
a general price I have no knowledge of. So,
okay, I guess so. You get just like a negotiation, right?
Yes.
All right, that's fair. All right. So what's the experience that we have with startups? Because you mentioned startups before. Is there any experience, any takeaways that you have in mind? Anything you can share on this?
Yep. There are some common misconceptions what notified bodies are, that they are government agencies, and that's not true. They're private organizations with governmental authorization.
Okay.
And they approve your device. Technically, they certify it. Europe doesn't approve devices like the FDA does.
They certify it, right?
Yes. Any notified body can certify any device. That's also not true. We've talked about that before. And the scope matters, and it matters a lot for the companies and your device and what you want to put on the market in the European Union.
Okay.
Because these misconceptions cost companies time, money, and even credibility.
Okay, you mentioned misconceptions. So what are some of the misconceptions or myths about notified bodies?
We don't plan to fail. We fail to plan.
Exactly.
And
that's a good one.
The first example is a U.S. startup chose a notified body without checking their scope. Turns out the notified body wasn't authorized for that type of device, and it set them back 6 months.
So that's why it's very important to choose the right scope, right? The right notified body for your...
Correct.
Okay. What else?
If another company assumed that the FDA clearance meant a fast CE mark, and in this case, the notified body disagreed, and particularly about clinical data, and that pushed them back 1 year.
1 year?
1 year. So that costed them a lot of time.
Okay.
To get back on track, and naturally, the money price, or the price of the money that they had spent doing that.
Right. You mentioned it can cost you time, which is clear. You also mentioned it can cost you credibility. What does that mean?
You're going to lose face with certain people in that type of surrounding in the medical device field. So maybe they won't take you as seriously, and they could just cause you to not have the right person for the right notified body job.
Paul.
Yes.
We're getting towards the end of our conversation. What are the key takeaways? I understand FDA is not the same as MDR, right?
Correct.
Should be one of the key takeaways that we have. The two does not equal. So Europe outsources conformity, right?
Correct.
What else?
I would say why the EU uses this system, because it's of the flexibility, specialization, and like I said before, the reduced political influence. So choose the right notified body with your scope, with your capacity, or with a combined capacity, and the communication style. The EU system isn't chaotic, it's just different. Understanding notified bodies early choosing wisely, prepare thoroughly, and your CE journey will go a lot smoother. And remember, your notified body is not your enemy. They just need proof, real proof.
That your device actually works, right?
Correct, that your device is actually safe. And with that said, so that's your crash course in the notified bodies.
All right.
Europe's gatekeepers to the CE mark.
If
Europe is part of your go-to market strategy, understanding the system is not an option, it's essential.
All right.
And thank you for having me here and letting me talk about one of my
Your babies.
my topics
All right.
within the QMS.
Sounds good, and it was great having you here. It's an honor working with you. Viewers, stay compliant, and thank you for watching.
Subscribe to MedTech Unfiltered so you never miss an episode and find more resources in the Core Science Academy.